What if I told you that 93% of the used SUVs on the market right now are a total scam? Sure, they look great, the price is right, but the second they roll past 100,000 miles, well, the dealer is already laughing because the engine is scheduled to explode in your garage. So, I'm here to tell you something that the used car lot will never admit. There are actually only 7 SUVs that mechanics practically beg people to buy. So we're talking about the rare few that don't just reach 200,000 miles, they actually blow past 300,000 miles so consistently that owners stop being surprised by it. Now, these are the machines that mechanics see the least in their shops, the ones that they quietly buy for their own families, and the ones built before automakers got obsessed with fragile screens and trend-chasing junk. So, just before we do take a deep dive, you have to smash that like button and hit subscribe because I'm about to drop the single most important financial decision that you can make in the used car market. And you absolutely cannot miss number one. It's so overbuilt that mechanics joke it could survive a direct meteor strike and still drive home. It's the closest thing the used market has to guaranteed longevity. So we're going to count down backwards, starting at number 7. And at number 7, we have the Subaru Forester. Now, the Subaru Forester earns its reputation the old-fashioned way, through millions of real-world miles and decades of quiet refinement that only engineers and mechanics fully appreciate. Mechanics often describe the Forester as a mountain goat with manners because, well, hey, everything about it is designed for consistency and durability. Subaru's boxer engine, while being unique, has been perfected for generations until it reached a level of mechanical confidence that rivals much larger engines. What mechanics appreciate most is Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system. It's not gimmicky or even overly electronic. It's a constant mechanical system that simply does its job with predictable wear and minimal failures over time. Now, if you pair that with a naturally aspirated engine that avoids turbo complexity, well, you get a drivetrain that delivers mile after mile without any surprises. The Forester CVT is one of the few in the industry that consistently proves itself durable when properly maintained. Yes, older Foresters did have head gasket issues, but modern ones, well, they don't. Nowadays, it's common to see Foresters in snow-heavy states hitting 250,000 to 300,000 miles with the same dependable character that they had when they were brand new. Families, outdoor enthusiasts, and commuters all gravitate towards the Forester because it handles harsh weather, steep mileage, and long ownership cycles with remarkable resilience. Now down to number 6. And at number 6, we have the Honda CR-V. Now, the Honda CR-V is one of the most predictable and least dramatic SUVs that's ever been built. And that's exactly why mechanics simply love it. It sticks to Honda's winning formula: keep the engine simple, refine them endlessly, and avoid unnecessary complexity. Excuse me. Whether you get a naturally aspirated engine or the turbo version, well, both have proven they can handle well over 200,000 miles with nothing more than routine maintenance. Now, what really sets the CR-V apart is Honda's CVT, which is among the most reliable continuously variable transmission ever made. Now, unlike competing brands that struggle with overheating and belt wear, Honda engineered their CVT to stay cool, stay clean, and more importantly, stay predictable for incredibly long periods of time. Mechanics simply love how accessible the engine bay is, how easy routine jobs are, and how inexpensive parts tend to be compared to other compact SUVs. Now, owners frequently report CR-Vs reaching 250,000 miles on their original powertrains, and the interior materials usually hold up better than expected for the price range. Now, the CR-V doesn't try to be sporty or luxurious. It tries to be dependable, efficient, and stress-free. And it delivers exactly that for a decade or more. So if you want a used SUV that keeps costs low and longevity high, well, hey, the CR-V is nearly unbeatable. Down to number 5. And at number 5 is the Mazda CX-5. Now, the CX-5 is one of the most underrated reliability machines on the market. It doesn't get the same reputation as a Toyota or a Honda, but mechanics know just how well built these things actually are. The naturally aspirated 2.5-litre Skyactiv engine is a pure masterpiece of balanced engineering. It's simple enough to be reliable, it's refined enough to feel premium, and it's robust enough to handle high mileage without breaking down under thermal stress or internal wear. Mazda's decision to keep a traditional 6-speed automatic transmission instead of jumping to CVTs or complicated dual clutch systems gives the CX-5 a huge reliability advantage. This transmission is smooth, it's durable, and it's famously consistent even after heavy use. The CX-5's build quality is surprisingly tight, with panel fitment and cabin materials that often rival entry-level luxury models. Now, mechanics frequently comment on how little they see CX-5s come in for anything major, and how well the underside resists rust in harsh climates. Owners often say the CX-5 still feels solid and enjoyable to drive even beyond 150,000 miles, which of course encourages them to hang on to it for longer than SUVs in this class, who normally stay with their first owner. So if you want an SUV that gives you a luxury adjacent driving experience without sacrificing long-term durability, well, hey, the CX-5 is the sweet spot. Down to number 4, and at number 4, a firm favorite, the Toyota Highlander. Now, the Highlander is one of the safest choices in the entire used market for families who want something that lasts longer than most people keep a mortgage. The combination of Toyota's time-tested V6 engine and their extremely refined 8-speed automatic transmission gives the Highlander a level of predictability that mechanics admire. Everything about the Highlander is engineered to withstand long-term family abuse, from countless school runs to road trips and years of heavy cabin use. The hybrid version deserves special recognition because Toyota's hybrid systems have proven themselves to be some of the most reliable automotive technologies ever created. Now, these powertrains often require less maintenance and they experience fewer major issues than their gasoline-only counterparts. Now, the interior holds up extremely well with materials that resist wear even after 10 to 12 years of constant use. Mechanics consistently report Highlanders reaching 250,000 to 300,000 miles with their original engines and transmissions intact. Now, yes, the Highlander doesn't try to wow you with bleeding-edge innovation, but instead, more importantly, it focuses on doing everything reliably for a very long time. And that's exactly why families and mechanics trust it. So just before we move into the top 3, I want you to brace yourself because these next SUVs aren't just reliable, they're the vehicles that mechanics consider almost comically indestructible. So we're talking about machines that regularly reach 300,000 miles without major failures, and in some cases, even 400,000 miles with nothing more than consistent oil changes and basic preventative care. Now, as I said previously, number 1 is so over-engineered that mechanics joke it could survive a direct meteor strike and still drive home. So stay with me because the next 3 SUVs are the reason that this list even exists. So at number 3, counting backwards, is the Toyota 4Runner. Now, the 4Runner represents everything that people miss about old school SUVs. It's rugged, it's mechanical, and it's built with a clarity of purpose that's almost unheard of in modern automotive design. Mechanics adore the 4Runner because it's the definition of use simple parts that last forever. The naturally aspirated V6 engine, while almost not the most powerful, will simply outlive almost anything else in its class. The 5-speed automatic transmission is notoriously reliable, and it feels the same at 200,000 miles as it does at 20,000. Its body-on-frame construction gives it a level of toughness that unibody crossovers simply can't match. The 4-wheel drive system uses old-school transfer case technology that rarely fails when properly maintained. Even the interior materials are selected for durability rather than luxury, and that's why 4Runners age gracefully both inside and out. Now, mechanics routinely see 4Runners with 300,000 to 400,000 miles that still run like champions, often with their original drivetrains. Now, its resale value is sky high because, well, buyers know exactly what they're getting. One of the longest lasting SUVs that's ever been built. Down to number 2. And at number 2 is the Honda Pilot. Now, the Honda Pilot is what happens when Honda builds a family SUV with the same level of engineering discipline that they use in their most reliable sedans. The Pilot's V6 engine is widely considered one of the best long-term power plants available. It's smooth, it's refined, it's quiet, and it's capable of racking up massive mileage with surprisingly few mechanical issues. Now, paired with Honda's proven transmissions, the Pilot becomes a long-term ownership dream for families. The cabin is durable, the ride is comfortable, and the engineering avoids unnecessary complexity. Now, Honda doesn't add features simply for marketing. They add them only when they've been proved reliable. Mechanics appreciate this philosophy because it means fewer expensive surprises for owners and more predictable maintenance. Real-world examples of Pilots hitting 200,000 to 250,000 miles are extremely common, and the vehicle tends to maintain its structural integrity well over time. So for families wanting a minivan alternative that can handle road trips, daily hauling, and high mileage without drama, well, hey, the Pilot is a top-tier choice. So finally, we're down to number 1. And at number 1, for reliability, is the Lexus GX. Now, the GX stands alone as the undisputed king of long-term reliability. Mechanics refer to it as the Acropolis SUV because it feels like it was engineered for a world where you might need to drive through anything, survive everything, and keep rolling for decades. Now, it's built on the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado platform. The GX combines the toughness of a truck with the refinement of a luxury vehicle. The older models use one of the most bulletproof V8 engines that's ever been made, and a power plant capable of 300,000 miles without breathing hard. Newer models switch to a twin-turbo V6 that continues Toyota's tradition of extreme over-engineering. Every single component, from the frame to the suspension to the door hinges, is designed for longevity. Even the interior controls, the switches, and the leather wear in slow, graceful way that reflects the meticulous build quality Lexus is known for. Now, mechanics often report GX models exceeding 300,000 miles, while still feeling structurally solid and remarkably smooth. It's not uncommon for mechanics to own one themselves, and that alone speaks louder than any review I could ever make. So, these 7 SUVs represent the absolute peak of mechanical consistency and long-term durability. Sure, they're not flashy and they don't rely on fragile tech. They're built on decades of refinement. Decades of refinement, over-engineering, and mechanical philosophies that put longevity above everything else. So if you want a used SUV that won't drain your bank account, it won't surprise you with major repairs, and it will give you peace of mind for years, well, these are the ones that truly deliver. So if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, what SUV are you driving and how many miles you've got on the odometer? I read every single comment. So take care, my fellow SUV lovers, and I'll see you guys on the next one.